Hello, good evening everybody, and welcome to International School Manila and the Fine Art and Performing Arts Theatre. It's very exciting. Our first concert of the year is our Great Works concert. The Great Works concert is now in its 5th year. We started this about 5 years ago to give the classes in high school a chance to join together and dig in really deep to a really challenging piece of music, a really challenging repertoire. And so every year of those 5 years, we've picked a specific piece of music that has lent itself to that challenge. Okay, everything from Carmen Burana to Mozart Requiem. It's been really, really exciting addition to the music program. The thing I like most about it is the students working together and getting to know each other really early in the year. As you well appreciate, the 24th of September is very, very early to be putting on a major key concert. So it's very, very exciting, the first chance for a lot of these students to get together and perform. What we've chosen to do this year, the theme this year, is the Chichester Psalms. It is by Leonard Bernstein. Bernstein is most well known probably on the mainstream for West Side Story and his work in some of the theatre pieces as well as some ballets. But his pieces, as you'll see tonight, symphonies and chamber music and everything, are just as well appreciated. And he's now probably considered one of the most famous American composers around. And sort of really led a forefront of American composers coming and being appreciated overseas outside of America. So it's very exciting. We are also very lucky today to have guest choir. There's 45 people from different various choirs around Manila who have come in to support for the final piece. And that sort of collaboration, working with professional singers and professional groups, really enriches the group. And that's another reason why the Great Works concert is a really, really exciting addition to the program. Just want to say that you have a lot of literature here to read if you want to learn anything more about Leonard Bernstein, which is the last piece for the night, the Chichester Psalms. It's all in this handout here. For the first 4 parts of the concert, we will see individual groups, and then the last piece, the 5th piece, is when they'll all join together for the Chichester Psalms. So I'm not going to speak anymore. I think it's a really, really lovely event to start the Fine and Performing Arts calendar with. The only other thing I need to say before we begin is the safety. For perhaps some of you are new to ISM, we always have to think about safety in this theatre. In the event of anything happening, these emergency doors will be open down here, but also the emergency doors out the back. If you'd like to leave for any reason during the performance, please just use the back doors though, just for safety reasons, because we have students who are volunteering their time tonight to work on those back doors, and they have torches to help you. So you can appreciate the carpet is quite dark and the lighting is very low during our performance. Please no flash photography, and please no videoing with iPads. The light pollution that comes from an iPad is very, very disturbing for anybody who is sitting behind you, and it distracts and makes it very difficult to see what's happening on stage. Okay, other than that, we hope you enjoy our first concert of the year. Thank you very much.
the show choir segment of tonight's concert. We will be performing 2 pieces for you in succession. There will be no break between them. And I would like to acknowledge the following people for their contributions to the pieces. Mrs. Yoon Jong Lee on piano. Klaus Park on flute. And our featured singers in our second piece will be Anne Safran and Christina Kuhn. Thank you.
Would you like to?
Sigala Dito on trumpet, and Steve on Together with Steve Hahn on saxophone, Matthew Feliciano Sikat on drums, Bella Stahl on trumpet, and Jaywin Brankin. Thank you very much.
It was in New York City at Carnegie Hall on November 14, 1943, that Leonard Bernstein burst onto the music scene. At the age of 25, he had just been appointed assistant conductor of the New York Philharmonic.
The point of that job was to be always ready to jump in case a conductor, a real conductor of the Philharmonic, that is, Nijinsky, or a guest conductor, got ill. But within the memory of anybody at the Philharmonic, no conductor had ever gotten sick. And all the assistant conductors here had just sat, growing increasingly bitter, frustrated, knowing all the scores, being always ready, having their tailcoat hanging in the locker backstage, ready to come on a moment's notice, and never getting the opportunity to do so. And I had not been in this job 2 months. It was November 14th, 1943. I will never forget. That Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, the phone rang, and it was Bruno Zerato on the other end saying, well, this is it. You have to conduct at 3 o'clock this afternoon. No chance for a rehearsal, nothing. Bruno Walter is ill, he has the flu, there's no way to get the orchestra together, and you will report at 2:45 backstage at Carnegie Hall and conduct the concert this afternoon. So there I am standing in the wings, all a tremble, listening to Bruno Zerato, who had come out on stage, address the audience and tell them the unhappy news that they would not be hearing Bruno Walter that day, many groans, but instead would be hearing a young conductor called Leonard Bernstein. And that's the last thing I remember, until the end of the concert, when I saw the entire audience there, standing and cheering and screaming.
Good evening. It is my honor to introduce our featured work tonight, the finale of tonight's concert. Leonard Bernstein's concert works reveal the influence of many composers. Hindemith, Britten, Shostakovich, Brahms, and Rachmaninoff, to name a few. However, almost everyone would agree that there's still a characteristic and unmistakable Bernstein sound. You may recognize some of these elements from earlier items in our concert tonight, and you can listen to them also in the upcoming Chichester Psalms. Some of them are rhythmic vitality, often with asymmetrical meters and surprising accents, beautiful lyricism, melodic invention with wide intervals or leaps, motivic development. You will hear in this work the first 5 notes come back again and again as a motive or theme throughout the entire piece. It is said that Bernstein had a cosmopolitan capacity to fuse multiple musical styles. Chichester Psalms is a great example of this, as it includes music removed from West Side Story and the aborted musical The Skin of Our Teeth, which never went through. And all of these lend this work a Broadway sound. You will also hear moments of jazz, blues, and traditional chorales. In fact, some say that what makes Bernstein's works both masterful and thoroughly American is the fluidity with which he moves between serious concert music and various vernacular musical styles like these. Bernstein composed the Chichester Psalms during his sabbatical year from the New York Philharmonic, 1965. He spent much time investigating and struggling with the 12-tone and atonal systems of modern composition at that time. And he decided to abandon it all in favor of the lyrical, tonal idiom that had come so naturally to him from the beginning. In poetic form, here are Bernstein's own words about his wrestling and the resultant Chichester Psalms. For hours on end, I brooded and mused on materia musicae, used and abused, on aspects of unconventionality, over the death in our time of tonality, pieces for nattering, plucking sopranos with squadrons of vibraphones, fleets of pianos, played with the forearms, the fists, and the palms, and then I came up with the Chichester Psalms. My youngest child, old-fashioned and sweet, and he stands on his own 2 tonal feet. So these are Chichester Psalms' own introductions in the words of Leonard Bernstein. Before we begin our finale work of the concert, there are a few thank yous. They are also found on the back of your program. As you know, in great concerts like these, they are never just what you see on stage. There is hours and hours of work that goes behind the scenes, and there's so many people to thank. Our music program leaders this year are middle school and high school principals Simon Gillespie and Bill Brown. Our music directors of the many classes, Giovanni Bobise, Carrie Grev, and Tom Nazareno. Of course, our fantastic teacher assistants that help with all of those classes as well, Ida Maxonval and Alvin Fernandez. Our concert cover was designed by Trisha Pazkovian, and she did a fantastic job. Our performing arts director, Marcia Hillman. All of the support from our booth back there with video PJ Fule and Bong Desena and Christian Ascano. And we also owe so much to the service desk and the security office and the IT office. So many people put their work into this. And we also have a number of guest choirs represented tonight, and we want to give special thanks to Udenis Caloruan, Los Cantantes de Manila, Interchoral, Coro San Miguel, the UAP Chorale, and the UCM Chancel Choir. We are so, so very grateful. We are ready to begin. When you have time, there are also some notes in your program if you want to learn more about Bernstein or the Chichester Psalms. We do hope you have a chance to read them, as it gives you an insight into the 5th annual Great Works concert and how we came up with this series, the purpose of this type of concert at a school like this. And thank you for sharing this evening with us.
concludes our program for tonight. Thank you so much for coming to the first Fine and Performing Arts event for the year. I'd like to give one more round of applause for our wonderful guests who came and helped and really enriched our choir program. They've come in several times and given their time free of charge to really help out. So could you please give them a hand? Thank you so much. Also, the person that was just conducting them was Miss Melody Husband, one of our choir teachers, and the person singing was actually a special guest from the middle school, Brian Byack. So again, it will be a big help. And last of all, I'd just like to say that again, it's such a lovely way to start the year, having everybody together, having a wonderful experience. I get to go all around the theatre during the performance, so I get to listen to it from different angles, and you should try that next time you come along to it perhaps as well. Go upstairs and listen to one of the numbers. It's beautiful up there as well. Just wanted to let you know before you go, if you love tonight, then the next time you get a chance to see in the various different groups is in November, when we have our all strings, all bands, all choirs concerts, which is another concept to enrich the program. For more details, watch out for more details, and that's towards the end of November. The next Fine and Performing Arts event, tickets go on sale for Blood Brothers, which is a musical. That is on the 9th, 10th and 11th of October, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not next week, the week after. So please, you can get the tickets from downstairs at the cashier's office if you'd like to come to that. Of course, the last applause should always be for the performer, so give them one more hand, and thanks for another. Thank you and good night. It's great to see you. Thank you. Goodbye.